All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. First meeting of January 2022. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holiday season and got a little bit of R&R, hopefully. All right, so I'm going to call the January 10th, 2022 regular council meeting to order and begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Kaitsi, Kwantlen, Masqui, and Semiahmoo First Nations. For any members of the public who are in attendance to watch these proceedings, welcome. And just a reminder to keep your mics and your camera turned off while you are in attendance. I am Mayor Val Vandenbroek, and with me today we have Councillor Paul Albrecht, Councillor Terry James, Councillor Gail Martin, Councillor Nathan Bahal, Councillor Rudy Storterboom, and I believe Councillor Rosemary Wallace will be joining us shortly, hopefully. Our Chief Administrator, Francis Chung, Darren Light, our Director of Corporate Services, Carl Johansson, our Director of Development Services, Rick Baumhoff, our Director of Engineering, Parks and Environment, Kim Hilton, our Director of Recreation, Culture and Community Services, and Kelly Kenny, our Corporate Officer. So adoption of the agenda, that the January 10th, 2022 agenda be adopted as circulated. Right. Mover and a seconder, sorry, Councillor Albrecht and Pahal, all those in favor, any opposed, that carries. Sorry, I've been off for a couple of weeks. Yeah, gotta get used to looking at the screen again, figuring out where everybody is. Okay, regular meeting minutes from December 13th, 2021, that the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 13th, 2021 be adopted as circulated. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Storterboom and Albrecht, any corrections, errors, or omissions that need to be corrected? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor, any opposed, and that carries. On to the mayor's report, our next upcoming meetings. Our second one in January, the next regular council meeting will be January 24th, 2022 at 3 p.m. and that will be virtual on Zoom again. And the following council meeting after that will be February 7th, 2022. And first up under mayor's report, we have library happenings with Councillor Martin.
Thank you very much. Library update for January. The ending of late fines is officially in effect. As of January 1st, customers will no longer be charged a fine for returning books and other items that come back later than they are due. The ending of late fines is part of Fraser Valley Regional Library's approach to continue to help remove barriers for customers and encourage increased use and access to the collection. This change does not include fees incurred for lost or damaged materials. Family Literacy Day is January the 27th. To celebrate, Fraser Valley Regional Library is launching a new contest starting January the 10th. We will be giving away 25 sets of 2 books, The Outdoor Scientist by Temple Grandin and We All Play by Julie Flatt. Customers can enter in the library or online. Family Literacy Day is a national initiative to raise awareness of the importance of reading and engaging in other literacy-related activities as a family. For more information, you can visit ABC Life Literacy Canada, Family Literacy Fact Sheet, and Dakota Literacy Solutions Family Literacy Resource page. Fraser Valley Regional Library is participating in Beanstalk's 2022 Winter Reading Challenge, Read for a Better World, sponsored by Learner Publishing. This challenge is open to all ages and runs January 1st to the 31st. Customers are encouraged to log reading minutes in January to meet a goal of 300 minutes, approximately 10 minutes each day. The reading enters Fraser Valley Regional Libraries to win community prizes such as book collections, signed books, and virtual author visits. Learner Publishing is providing unlimited ebook access to its selected titles for the month of January, which will link directly from the Beanstack site and app. Fairy tales, myths, and classic stories retold or reimagined are featured in these 3 great reading lists for kids, teens, and adults. Are you a Guardian of the Galaxy fan? Turn up the awesome mix and test your knowledge of the galaxy's favorite band of misfits with our Guardians of the Galaxy trivia event. You can fly solo, participate by yourself, or team up with your whole household. And what's the only thing better than reading fresh and engaging books? Chatting about them in one of the library's lively book clubs. You can join fellow readers in a discussion of timely, topical, and noteworthy works of fiction and nonfiction. And did you know that you can stream movies, read magazines, and learn a new language, all free with your library card? Join us for an overview of some of the amazing resources that are only a click away. And if you want to start journaling, but not sure where to start, teens can join us for a discussion on the joys of journaling, potential benefits, as well as tips and tricks. If you already have a journal, bring it along. If you don't, that's okay too. And last but not least, how good are your guessing skills? Teens and tweens can join in for the classic game of Pictionary. Test your drawing skills, guess each other's art, and have fun guessing what library staff draw too for ages 10 to 17. And that's the report for January. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to engineering update with Mr. Baumhofer, Director of Engineering, Parks and Environment.
All right, thank you very much. This is a report for, it should be January, 2022. This is a shot of the drawing continuation of the sewer replacement upgrade on 200th Street from the Nickameckle trunk main up to 49th, near 49th Avenue. This is a shot of the final stretch of it's a trenchless technology that's being used. And this is the last piece of trenchless section to be installed. In the next couple of weeks, we'll see an open cut section south of 49th Avenue, and also replacing a section of sewer on Great Crescent. Of course, that's weather dependent. This is a shot of the 208th Street bike lane project. This is the bridge portion where they're taking off a portion of the sidewalk and expanding it out into the road area. And we're making that area up within the road. It's still maintaining the current lane numbers and configuration. We're just removing the median to accommodate. The shot of the curb works. And this is shot looking south on the west side of the road, the new multi-use pathway. And this is the Glover Road project. This is a shot showing the bike lane paving and the median tree planting. So this is the bike lane in between 56th Avenue and Logan. The shot showing the paving of the bike lane. And a big portion of the paving of the base course was completed before the snow flew. So that was fortunate we were able to fit that in. Of course, construction on all of these projects is somewhat delayed because of the weather conditions. So hopefully it'll start improving here shortly and they can get back at it. And speaking of the weather, there's a snow fight that was done over the last couple of weeks. It's bad timing as far as Christmas time, and unfortunately the crews had to go out many times over the last couple of weeks. And this was shot showing the grader plowing the snow. This is a shot of the recent just the freezing rain covering covering the snow layer. A shot showing clearing of the sidewalks that are along municipal parking areas. Same, this is at McBurney Plaza. It's clearing along the Fraser Highway and also at the fire hall. And just to show, I mean, the positive side, of course, of the snow. It's beautiful scenery and just showing off some of the Christmas lights at Douglas Park. And thank you, that's my report.
Well, thank you, Mr. Baumhoff, to you and your staff. It has been an uphill battle. So all the hard work over the holidays and such. Yeah, you kept it up. So thank you. And I know we well, everybody kind of ran out of salt. So it is what it is, but you guys did a great job considering what we had to work with. So thank you. Councillor Albrecht, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Baumhoff, for the report. It was nice to see the pavement go down to cover some of those roads before the weather turned on us. But mostly I wanted to just express my appreciation for staff. While a lot of us were home and comfortable and enjoying the Christmas holidays and New Year's and what have you, our crews were out there working 24/7, keeping our streets safe and clear for our residents and people to travel. So if you could pass along my appreciation to staff, I would certainly appreciate that and all the work that they've done. And from what I understand, we have another atmospheric river coming in this week. So I'm sure they'll be out there again 24/7, making sure the catch basins are draining our streets and limiting any flooding that possibly could happen. So thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you. And maybe just as a reminder, thanks for mentioning the potential rainfall. If there are residents that are able to help clear the catch basins in front of their homes, is very much appreciated. Our crews will be out doing their best, but they don't necessarily see it all. So any help we can get is appreciated.
Councillor Sturtevant, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Baumhoff, for your report, always identifying how vigilant your crews are, the great work that they do, especially during this time of pandemic and unusual weather. I want to thank you and the team for being out at all hours on all days to make the roads safer and passable and probably the best kept in the Lower Mainland. I know that it's bylaw that says that private property owners need to take care of their sidewalk clearing, but there are times when I can't help but think some private property owners aren't, and it may be appropriate for the city to jump in because some people have disabilities, and although I recommend them not to get out and about immediately following a heavy snowfall, they do have appointments and requirements to get meds and food and different services. I'm especially concerned about some of the comments that I've had about clearing the letdowns on some of the sidewalks to the crosswalks and access to the signal light buttons. It's not that you guys aren't doing a good job. It's just, I just wanted to remind you that this is something that we have to be looking out for, because we do have a lot of people in the community who have disabilities, and when they can't get past the letdown because that's where the snow's been piled up from the street, then it has the potential of disaster for them. So thank you very much to you and your team for the tremendous hard work that you do. These are unreasonable climatic conditions, especially with freezing rain and all. I know it's been tough driving to Chilliwack and back to see Mom, but if you wouldn't mind just making note of that for the future, I'd sincerely appreciate that special attention on behalf of the people I represent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Paul, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through the mayor to Mr. Baumhoff. I know with the resources that we've given you via the budget, I know our crews are doing an excellent job. I think one of the things this year has brought to my attention, and it seems like we have been getting a lot more significant snowfalls maybe every 2 years now. And this year has really shown that we're in the middle of climate change, and that's going to have a direct impact on our operations budget. And I know snow removal is not cheap. I feel like it can exceed, $500,000 to $1 million, depending on the year. It's just something that I think our residents need to be aware of, and especially as we move forward, we may have to step that up, because I know we're relying on overtime with our crews, and it's definitely something that isn't sustainable in the long term, especially with climate change and how we'll have to address that. So thank you very much for the work you've done. I think, as Councillor Sordaboom said, we should also thank the bylaws department. I know they've had a lot of calls for service. I'm sure all of us have received feedback from residents in the community about sidewalks as well. So I know they've been busy reminding business owners that they do have a duty to clear those icy sidewalks and make sure that they're safe to pass. So thanks to them as well. And I think as we continue our council deliberations, I know we sometimes collectively forget about snow when it comes to the next preliminary budget discussions, but I feel just in my gut, we might need to look at increasing that snow removal budget in future years, because I think this is a new reality. So thank you, Mr. Baumhoff.
Thank you.
Councillor Sordaboom, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor, again for hearing me. I just wanted to ask Mr. Baumhoff if he'd be so kind as to update us with regard to the availability of salt and the conditions that we're dealing with and being able to address some of the icy areas and what the snow clearing policy will be moving forward. If you would be so kind as to give us just a quick update as to what to expect, considering what we'll be looking at in the next little while, we should prepare for what is available for us to do and recommend our residents prepare accordingly, please.
Certainly. Yeah, we've been told that a barge of salt is coming, towards the mid to late January. So we should be expecting to get deliveries again. But until we actually see that, I can't be 100% certain, but that's what we're being told. In the meantime, we are conserving as much salt as we can, and techniques such as mixing it with water and creating the brine that we spray on the road, and using that a little bit more liberally, that conserves the salt, and only using salt, when it's absolutely required. So we think we're in pretty good shape to go on that basis, but we won't be using salt, say, on local roads or cul-de-sacs and that type of thing. We will continue to plow and clear as much as possible, but the salt and brine would be kept for our arterials and collector roads.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that update. I'm sure that we've got the best team in the valley, but we have to deal with these circumstances that are facing us. I appreciate your update and your tremendous effort. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Baumhoff, and thank you, staff, from all of us for the great job you've done over the holidays. Thank you. Okay, on to bylaws, body art and tattoo service separation amendment, Lady Luck tattoo relocation, and I believe Mr. Chung and Mr. Johansson, you have a little presentation for us.
Yes, thank you and good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This proposed rezoning is being brought forward to enable an existing longtime city business, Lady Luck Tattoo, who've been in the city for 27 years, to enable them to move to another location, as the building they're currently located in at 20785 Fraser Highway is proposed for redevelopment. More specifically, this proposed bylaw would enable this tattoo parlor business to relocate to another site on Fraser Highway close to another existing tattoo parlor. The city's zoning bylaw currently requires a 400-meter separation between tattoo and body art businesses. And the proposed relocation would bring the Lady Luck tattoo business within about 70 meters of another tattoo business. However, given that this proposed approach won't result in additional tattoo parlors in the city, and the proposed location is separated from the other tattoo business by a major arterial intersection, that's 203 and Fraser Highway. And they also wouldn't be in the same block face. They would actually be on opposite sides of the street. Staff are supportive of this approach as it facilitates the relocation of an existing business and won't result in an over-concentration of these businesses in a particular area. The proposed bylaw is also written in a manner that enables Lady Luck to relocate to the redeveloped property at 20785 Fraser Highway once that redevelopment is complete. Again, with the intent of not increasing the overall amount of tattoo parlors in the city. Noting that the applicant is seeking to relocate prior to the start of February, according to their new lease terms, staff note that if council moves this to a public hearing on January 24th, with the current council meeting schedule, further readings and adoption of this bylaw would not be possible until February 7th, which wouldn't provide the opportunity for the application or the applicant to resume their business in their new location on February 1st. Based on this, council could exercise the option of holding a special council meeting on January 31st to consider further readings and adoption of this proposed bylaw. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions from Mr. Johansson? Councillor Stortebroom?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd be happy to make the resolution, bring it forward. I'll support the initiative. I do recognize, though, that we will be establishing a precedent, and that as much as I support Lady Luck in her situation, we're opening up maybe rewriting that bylaw in keeping with this, because what becomes the exception then becomes the rule. So just for the clarity of those applicants in the future who may find themselves in a similar situation, we might consider changing that bylaw. Otherwise, we might find ourselves in a kind of a libelous situation, I think. So those are my comments, and I motion that we make that bylaw.
I have a motion to read, Councillor Stortebroom.
Thank you very much.
Yep, go ahead. Councillor Pahal, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, and maybe this is to you. Do you have in that motion also for the special January 31st council meeting, as Mr. Johansson might have alluded to?
No, I do not, but we do have something else coming up after this, which might be a more appropriate time to bring it in under the zoning amendment bylaw.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Martin?
Thank you. Just to follow up on Councillor Stortebroom's comments, I agree with what he says. However, you know, when we drafted this bylaw, we did it with good purpose. We don't think about people that are in the situation as Lady Luck Tattoo. So, I mean, if a tattoo parlor just wanted to move across the street, they wouldn't be allowed to do that. Is there some way that we can write into the bylaw that should they have to move because of redevelopment, we would give them special consideration?
Mr. Johansson, did you want to answer that?
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Martin. Thanks for your question. It is, there are a number of possibilities that we could include in terms of regulatory language around this. Given that we're doing a zoning bylaw update, you know, over the next 5 to 6 months, that's something that council can consider as part of new language in the updated bylaw. So there's a number of options that staff can bring forward regarding that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I certainly support the this recommendation. We've got a longtime business that doesn't want to leave the city of Langley, and we're happy about that. But we have to make it so, you know, with the original intent of the bylaw stays in place, but there are special circumstances, and this is one of them. So I'd appreciate if we could come up with something. So, you know, when this happens in the future, we don't have to go through all of this. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll read the motion that the January 4, 2022 report entitled Body Art and Tattoo Service Separation Amendment Lady Luck Tattoo Relocation be received for information. Moved by Councillor Stortaboom, seconded by Councillor Bahal. All those in favor? And that carries. And then we will now go on to bylaw 3199, zoning bylaw amendment. First and second reading of a bylaw to exempt one of two properties at a time from the 400-meter spacing requirement between tattoo services in the general provisions. Lady Luck Tattoo. And Mr. Johansson, do you wish to introduce the bylaw, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I can say that my previous comments covered the intent of the bylaw. Again, just to facilitate the relocation of this business. Thank you.
Great. And the motion for it is that the bylaw cited as zoning bylaw 1996, number 2100, amendment number 185, 2022, number 3199 be read a first and second time. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Albrecht, Councillor Paul. Any further discussion on that? Councillor Albrecht, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank staff for bringing this forward and trying to work in a timely manner to support local business. I think it's really critical that we have a long-standing business that has been working in our community for a long time, as Mr. Johansson said, 27 years. I think it's the right thing to do at this point in time. The previous bylaw, these are some unintended consequences of a bylaw that didn't intend to create difficulty for an existing business in our community. And I think it's really important that we support local businesses. I think the issue will come up again. And as both Councillor Stortaboom and Martin have stated, this is something that we need to address in the upcoming months. And I think Mr. Johansson has said that staff will be coming through with some various options that council consider. So I'm in agreement with the special meeting at the end of the month here to move this along and help this business and support it all the way through. So as our community redevelops, I think we're going to be having more and more businesses that have to do some relocation, whether it's temporary or permanent. And we should be trying to be a little more accommodating for our existing businesses, especially long-term businesses. So thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I will be supporting this. Thank you.
Mr. Pahal.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am supportive of this as well. And just to sort of comment about liability and whatnot, I know that the courts have confirmed that when it comes to zoning, council have basically unfettered authority to do as we choose, which is in the best interests of our community. So with this, I feel like we're going to be okay. Again, I support it, and the courts have confirmed that, you know, council has full authority regardless of OCP and regardless of council policy to vote for the best interest of the community, which I believe this is, which is why I support this change. And also I'm supportive of having a special meeting just to make sure that this business can continue to operate. If the mayor puts that forward, I'd be happy to support it. If not, I'll put that forward, or if any other member wants to. So thanks.
I'm not sure that we actually have to do a motion with that. Mr.
Oh, okay.
Jackson, are you just going, is staff just going to do that, or?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll defer to our Ms. Kenny on that. And required, but our sense was that if there wasn't, if there was an indication of support from council to do a special meeting, that we can certainly schedule that if council's available.
Okay. Ms. Kenny?
Through the chair to the mayor. Yes, our council procedure bylaw just provides information that if we want to hold a special council meeting, we have to provide 24 hours advance notice. It doesn't speak to how we establish that special council meeting. And in the past, we haven't had motions to do that. So I think we're fine to continue with our practice.
Okay, great. Thanks, Councillor Ball, for bringing that up. And thanks for the clarification, Ms. Kenny. Councillor Sturtevant, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to respond to Councillor Hall's comments advising with regard to his research around liability. I appreciate that. I know you're a good researcher and you'll provide that information to us in keeping with what you discovered. But in my experience, we want to try to avoid any appearance of liability because we really don't want to get caught up in spending money on challenges or anything like that too. So thank you for that update. But yeah, I continue to be concerned that anybody is going to try to throw something at us and there would be a cost associated with that. So thank you again, Councillor Hall, and thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, I'll read out the bylaw, or sorry, the motion that the bylaw cited as zoning bylaw 1996, number 2100, amendment number 185, 2022, number 3199, be read a first and second time. All those in favor, any opposed, and that carries. Okay, updates to council policies, CO51 community grants, that amended council policy CO-51 community grants be approved. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Albrecht, Councillor James, any discussion? There's one line changed in it and that was it. Go ahead, Councillor Albrecht.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. This is just a housekeeping thing to get it up to date. So yeah, I'm quite comfortable with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay, now on to new and unfinished business, 2022 delegate and representative appointments. That the 2022 delegates and representatives appointments list was prepared in compliance with recently approved advisory bodies policy CO-79. Changes from the 2021 list are identified in the explanatory memo included in the agenda package that we all received. So before I read the motion, I need to assign a council member to be co-chair of the crime prevention task group and a council member to be an alternative for the Langley Human Dignity Association. I did send out an email and Councillor Albrecht was the only one that stated interest in the co-chair for the crime prevention task group. So I will assign him if nobody has any objections to that. And if he would like to accept that. I see a head nod, yeah. And I believe before Councillor Sturtevant had stated he wanted to be the alternate on the Langley Human Dignity Association. Now, as an alternate, you do not attend all the meetings. You only attend when the chair does not attend. So if nobody has any objections to that, I will put Councillor Sturtevant's names in for that. So I can now read out the motion, but if council wishes it to be taken as read, what is council's wishes? Are we good to take it as read? I'm seeing head nods. Okay. So motion that the list of the 2022 delegate and representative appointments included in the agenda package with the inclusion of Councillor Albrecht as the co-chair of the crime prevention task group and Councillor Sturtevant as the alternate for the Langley Human Dignity Association be approved. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bahal, Councillor Sturtevant, and go ahead, Councillor Sturtevant. Go ahead, Councillor Sturtevant.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a point of clarity in that as the alternate for the Human Dignity Coalition, I appreciate being appointed and thank Councillor Wallace for her tremendous efforts on behalf of us all in this regard. And to advise that if Councillor Wallace chooses to have me attend for the sake of, not losing the thread and just jumping in the middle of nowhere, I'd appreciate that invitation, and I would attend if you would be so kind as to allow me. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for those comments, Councillor Sturdivant. And it's usually the association that decides who attends their meetings. And since that's not a city meeting, it would be their choice whether you attend or not. So,
Thank you very much.
okay. All right, all those in favor? Oh, any opposed? Okay, moving on. Correspondence.
Can I just speak on that? Sorry, before.
Okay, next time, can you please raise your hand?
Sure, I'm on another computer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was late to the meeting. I had technical difficulty. I'm in a new computer, so.
That's fine, just follow the procedures. Thank you.
Councillor Rudy Sturdivant, we would love to have you join us at our meetings as you once represented council on that. So thank you.
Okay, on to correspondence. We voted on that. All those in favor, any opposed? Okay, thank you. Correspondence, District of Lillooet supported BC wildfires petition. Council's wishes received for information. Okay, all those in favor, that carries, whatever. Response letter from Minister of Municipal Affairs, appointment of directors to regional district board process, received for information. Pretty good, excellent. Okay, on to new business, release of motion from closed meeting. We have a motion included in the agenda package for information that was approved for public release at the December 13th, 2021 closed meeting, which lists appointees to various city committees. I can read it out, or if council wishes, it can be taken as read. Okay, excellent. Now, do I need to do? Okay, all those in favor, my carries. Nobody objected to that. Motion to hold a closed meeting, that the council meeting immediately following this meeting be closed to the public as the subject matter being considered relates to items which comply with the following closed meeting criteria specified in section 90 of the community charter. 1K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that in the view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. And 2B, the consideration of information received and held in confidence relating to negotiations between the municipality and a provincial government or the federal government or both, or between a provincial government or the federal government or both and a third party. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bahal, Councillor Sturdivant, any discussion about going into closed? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? All right, we now go on to a motion that this meeting adjourn. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bahal, Councillor Sturdivant, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we are going to go into a